Stealth Reconnaissance-1. This is BlueBrixx set 108581. It consists of 1180 pieces which are compatible to bricks by other building blocks companies like Lego, Kobe, Mega and so on. This set was released in July 2025 for about €50. This set comes with a quite generic name, and I'm quite sure that the reason for this is that BlueBrixx simply wasn't able to get any licensing rights for the franchise to which the spaceship they depict with this set belongs. This model clearly is the SSV Normandy SR-1, the player's ship from the first Mass Effect video game. And yeah, I think missing licensing rights is also a reason why the set only comes as a special set and not as a pro set. Special sets come in these rather boring boxes. The pro sets have these fancy printed boxes. And yeah, the special sets just have cheaper boxes. Special sets also use other bricks. Most of the pro sets use bricks by Xingbao, but some also use bricks by BlueBrixx. Those are the best pieces. Xingbao pieces, on the other hand, come with quite ugly injection holes, and luckily the pieces they use for special sets in many cases have better injection holes, so I actually prefer special sets. Even though they don't come with printed building instructions, they only come with digital building instructions. Pro sets in many cases only come with printed building instructions but do not have any digital building instructions at all. So this is also a thing which I do not like so much about pro sets. I prefer digital building instructions. Well, let's have a look inside this box. This is a typical special set. The pieces come unsorted in unnumbered bags. There are no individual building sections. And normally I sort all the pieces of special sets by type before I start with the building process, simply to avoid searching too long for an individual brick at each step during the building process. My rule of thumb is to pre-sort all the pieces when there is a piece count of 1000 pieces or more, but today I'm simply not in the mood of sorting bricks, and yeah, I think a piece count of about 1200 pieces might still be okay to handle unsorted. So what I'm going to do now is to open all the bags, empty them on the table, and then I will start with step 1. I will come back to you as soon as I see something interesting or something doesn't work as shown in the instructions. Step 76. In this step we have to connect these two wedges here, and then we have to connect them with the build. Like this. We have done this already in an earlier step on the opposite side of that ship too, over here. But with this step now, there's something strange in the instructions. Have a look here at the pieces. In the instructions, they do not appear to be properly connected with each other. The plaque piece here definitely is levitating. It's just floating in the air. It's not connected to the white piece at all. But this must be an error. I doubt that this is possible to be built, or that we are supposed to stick another piece in a later step between those two pieces, which simply is missing here. Yeah, we have done this on the opposite side, and there everything was shown correctly in the instructions, so I'm quite sure that we simply have to connect the pieces once again like this, and they simply missed to do this correctly in the instructions. When we have a look at the next step there, the pieces still seem not to be properly connected, but I'm still quite sure that they are definitely supposed to be connected with each other. Step 162. We have built the ship's main body, and we also have already built the first of the wings, those, wing engine combinations, or this huge wing with this little winglet here to its side. And now it's time to wet those two bigger segments. And after that, we have to build one more of these wing things for the opposite side, just mirrored. Step 235. In big parts, the ship is complete. Now it's time to build the stand. Step 254. In this step, we are using pieces which, for example, the Lego company doesn't use. Those pieces are used to reverse the stud order. We can find them quite often in BlueBrixx sets. You can see those are plates with studs on both sides. So a 1x1 plate with studs on both sides. Well, it's gone. Here it is. And a 2x2 plate with studs on both sides. Those things are as thick as normal plates, plus additional studs. Step 264. We have completed the stand, and now we can place the ship on this stand. But I think it's not so easy to see where to place it exactly in the instructions. So you can see that we get these pins here, and then 4 studs. Now let's have a look at the underside of the ship. And there doesn't seem to be really a place allocated for the stand. We can only guess. My guess is that we have to place it between those two round pieces here. Let's try that. Yeah, I guess this was the right decision. Alright, then let's go on with the next step, step 265, in which we start to build one of those M35 Makos. You know, those vehicles from the first Mass Effect with the strange controls. And we have to build 2 of them. To do so, we use pieces which the Lego company doesn't use. And once again, we need those pieces for a building technique which is needed to reverse the stud order. You can see we got here these single studs, only studs, hollow studs, whatever you want to call them. And they are used to turn anti-studs into regular studs. So we got this plate here, and with the help of this bar, which we use as a tool, we place those studs on the underside of the plate. We push down the stud with our fingernail, and then we can release the tool. We do this again with another stud, and so on. And now you can see we got a plate with studs on both sides, which means we can also simply interlock these kind of pieces, these ingots, to the underside of a plate, like this. Step 280. The build is complete. And I think it's clearly visible that this is the Normandy, like we saw it in the first Mass Effect. BlueBrixx could recreate the shape quite well. It looks very cool, this ship. We got the torso with these fin things in the front. Then we got these huge wing-like pieces with additional winglets. Then here in the back there are the engines. We also got a bit of tech rebuilding, and here those logo-like things or whatever. A big winglet up here. It's quite cool. Then down here we got one of the Makos. The other one is hidden inside the ship. This isn't really a play feature. Oh, where is it? I don't think that it's meant to be placed there. It is meant to be placed here. This isn't really a play feature since we can't eject the Mako from the ship. I think in the game you don't, the Mako isn't ejected from above, but it falls through some kind of trapdoor or something like that, I don't know. And nevertheless, it's a neat Easter egg. I think I will have to place this with two hands later. Alright. From below, the ship isn't as detailed as we are used to from other BlueBrixx starships. The Star Trek models don't show that many anti-studs from below, but I think this just was necessary to keep this ship so thin, to recreate this very thin shape. Well, let me just close this roof part again. So that we can have a look at the details on the ship's side. What I noticed is that this black part here seems to be a bit too long. I think the black part starts here and the tip of this triangular area should end somewhere like here. So the original ship does have written Normandy up here and SR-1 down here, and I think SR-1 is written here. It ends in this this round piece here, the one, and Normandy starts more or less at the end of this triangular space. But when the triangular space is so far away from this round piece, Normandy would stop somewhere here, and the original ship does have written SR-1 just below the end of the Normandy part, so I guess the triangular part should stop somewhere here so that we can say Normandy and then SR-1 down here. Of course, sadly, there are no prints. We do not see Normandy SR-1 written on the ship, but maybe this would have also looked strange with prints, because you can see that the pieces aren't just on the same layer. To recreate this shape, we used pieces which are placed in different layers, and so maybe it's better that we do not have written Normandy SR-1 there. I have ordered a UV printer, and it will arrive hopefully in the next 2 months, or within the next 2 months, and maybe I will try out if I can write down Normandy SR-1 somehow on here. But I'm still not sure. At least with this part down here, it might look strange if the SR is lower than the 1. I will have to see. But I think that's more or less the only thing that I'm missing from this ship, or which I do not like so much. So the black part is a bit too long, and the Normandy SR-1 name is simply missing on this ship. I had very much fun assembling the set. The instructions were absolutely easy to follow. There was one tiny error in the instructions, but you can completely ignore that error. And I guess many people won't even notice that there is this error in the instructions. The bricks work totally fine. Those are great bricks. No problem with the clutch power at all. Only several of those bricks come with quite ugly injection holes. You can see them here. Those are rather big injection holes. But many pieces come with rather neat injection marks. Let me zoom in a bit. And I think those marks here are barely visible. That's totally fine. Almost all of the visible studs come with neat injection marks, so this is great. Let's see where we find those ugly injection marks here. Here's an ugly injection mark. Up here, those two. Well, I guess also down here, yeah, there's an ugly injection mark. And that's it. All other injection marks which are visible are totally fine. So there's not much to complain about. You can simply replace those pieces you don't like. So a wedge here, a wedge there, and two wedges up here. All right, well, now I really want to replay the first Mass Effect, or maybe the first trilogy. Yeah, this thing will find a place in my shelf, and then I'm going to install Mass Effect.